as our parents used to say, it's just a phase, you'll grow out of it. Well, it's actually not just a phase. It's a part of someone who you naturally are, and naturally will stay. So, according to that, we have seen that in different schools around the world, people, different LGBTQ students who have came out of the closet, who have became themselves, are actually very scared to do so, as some school curriculums do not accept them. But when we do accept them, all the other students can learn about acceptance, they can learn about dignity, they can learn about respect, they can learn about empathy, and so on. So when you learn about empathy, you will not just be a good person in school. You will be a good person throughout your life. You will learn good values, good norms, everything throughout your life, and then hopefully you will someday get to be a great person. Again, talking about that, when LGBTQI education is supported in schools or included in schools, many of the students that support this type of studies will not be a part of any type of mental health or any type of neurological symptoms that they might have. LGBTQI students the schools which support LGBTQ actually have a higher rate of students being more inclusive, students being more friendly, students being more respectful towards every single person and every single person and every single value and norms, regardless of who they are and what their background is. Talking about that, we have seen that in schools that have supported inclusiveness and inclusion of LGBTQ studies, 90% of the students in schools that have not included such type of studies are actually more likely to have suicide attempts, while in schools that have included the LGBTQ studies actually only have 16% of students who might have such types of things going on inside them. So coming out of the closet is a great deal for them. When you support them, they will come out. When you support them, they will come out. But when you do not support them, when you do not respect them, when you do not respect their values and norms, when you do not accept who they themselves are, they feel isolated. They feel that they are not a part of society. They feel as they are not human beings. But we're all human beings, and human beings are taught to talk with themselves. Human beings are social animals, and we should not disrespect any of the people regardless of who they are and what they have become. Talking about other charts, we have seen that in the GLSE and surveys, schools that have included such types of studies actually have 66.9% of students that are very friendly and that have no mental health problems. While in schools that have no types of LGBTQ studies, there are 38% of the students that have already have some types of things going on inside their brain, like suicidal attempts, etc. So talking about this, LGBTQ is not just a myth. It's not just some propaganda that was spread throughout the internet or by your friends. It's an actual thing that we have to learn about. It's an actual thing that we must care about, and it's a very important point in someone's life, whether it is not important in yours. You have to respect everyone's views, and just let them be themselves. Well, some people say that our tradition says otherwise, but tradition is about accepting who people are. Tradition is about respecting other traditions as well. So, talking about that, LGBTQ is not just some fake propaganda that was spread throughout the internet or by some of your friends. It's an actual scientific thing going on around. Thank you.
A warm good morning to honorable judges, respected teachers, my fellow debaters, and everyone present here today. My name is Mili, and I'm standing here against a motion on the topic: is LGBTQ plus inclusive sex education necessary in all schools? While I believe that all students must deserve to feel respect and must deserve to feel safe. I believe that it is not the appropriate and effective approach to include LGBTQ plus inclusive sex education in all schools. My first point is parental rights and cultural sensitivity. Schools, education must respect cultural values, family values, and religious values. Sorry. My first point is that all schools, including education, must respect cultural values, family values, and religious values. Many families have strong beliefs about when and how their children should learn about sexuality. And the school should not override the values that should be taught at home. My second point is about age appropriateness. Many students in schools have not fully developed the mental and emotional development, which means that LGBTQ plus inclusive sex education is actually a very vast topic for them to understand. Schools already have basic problems like academic pressure, lack of teachers, lack of proper equipment, and mental health issues. So including LGBTQ plus including LGBTQ plus inclusive sex education is just not the proper approach. I believe that when children are at such young age are introduced to such vast topics, then instead of creating clarity, students are rising among confusion among them. And as my fellow opponents stated out, including LGBTQ plus sex inclusive education in schools can create respect and a friendly environment, but such an environment can also be created without getting into detailed LGBTQ plus content, because I believe that students are just not fully prepared for such topics, which are values that should be taught at home. And in conclusion, I would like to say that I firmly stand against the topic of LGBTQ plus sex inclusive education being included in all schools. For example, in many countries, including Nepal, schools already are facing basic problems. Like lack of teachers and lack of proper equipment, and such vast topics among students are just not taught properly because of discomfort. So when the proper time reaches, I believe that parents should such topics should be taught at home, because these are such common values. So I would like to end my speech. Thank you.
A warm good morning to honorable judges, respected teachers, my worthy opponents, and everyone else present here. I am Hiroshi Prajapati from grade 9, and I am honored to stand in front of you all participating in the 5th round of RT Debate Championship. Today, I stand for the motion that LGBT plus inclusive sex education should be taught in schools. First of all, education is not about learning facts, it is about learning how everyone feels. It is a way of helping everyone feel true to themselves and feel right for how they feel. LGBT plus inclusive sex education means teaching and operating people about how they feel and that feeling different is okay. First of all, I would like to say that in our society there is a strong belief that a girl should feel like a girl and a boy should feel like a boy. But as the society is vastly being evolved, people feel different, people think different. So teaching LGBT plus inclusive sex education can help people feel that learning and feeling different is okay. It should be normalized. Learning about LGBT plus inclusive sex education can help reduce bullying, as people we'll know that there are different people who feel different types of things, and feeling different is also okay. In some families there are two moms while there are two dads. So some people might feel different, and some people might feel not included in friend groups or also while learning, and that can affect them mentally and physically. They might feel wrong for who they are and for what they feel, but no human should feel like that. Everyone should feel normal. No human should feel like what they're feeling is different. So LGBT plus inclusive sex education should be taught in schools. In Nepal, less than 25% of schools are teaching sex education. So I would like to say that LGBT plus inclusive sex education should be normalized and should be taught in schools freely and openly. People should be open-minded, and learning about it can also help us be more respectful and caring towards others. As we are growing up, we fully do not understand how the real world is. So learning about LGBT plus inclusive sex education can help us prepare for the real world. If it is normalized, then while growing up, we won't feel like the other person is different or other person is weird. We will naturally accept them for who they are. That's why LGBT plus inclusive sex education should be normally taught in school. In conclusion, I would like to say that LGBT plus inclusive sex education does not confuse us. It guides us. It does not harm us. It protects us, and it does not break us. It brings us together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone present here, respected classes, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I am Mr. Singhal stand here to speak on the topic: is LGBT plus inclusive sex education necessary in school? And I am going against the motion. First of all, there is a lot of pressure and load on the students, as there is a lot of subjects they need to read, and adding the LGBT plus inclusive sex education, they will get more pressure and they can also be depressed, and some students might be fully concentrated on the topic only, which can decrease their study habit and also their marks in exams. And also some students are not fully mature, which can lead to the misunderstanding between the sexuality between all the people, and so it also harms all the teachers, as some teachers might feel that it can cause disrespect to other students, and so, LGBT plus inclusive sex education should not be necessary in school. Thank you.
Especially right now in Nepal, not many schools have actually embraced LGBT education. I am Shriyat Sarna from grade 9, speaking on the topic. LGBTQ plus and inclusive sex education should be necessary in schools. It is definitely necessary. It's not the study habits or how people do in grades that matter. It's the people themselves that matter. People themselves matter a lot more than what they get for a grade. Especially right now, only 55% of the school's teachers actually support LGBT students globally. In Nepal, there's less than 20% of schools that actually have embraced the curriculum, as I have probably told you before. In the US as well, there's a less percentage of schools that embrace LGBT education, 19% to be exact. These curriculums not only help LGBT students embrace their identity, but it's part of their nature. Especially if you take a LGBT student who doesn't get education, they might follow the path of depression, suicide, self-harm, and many other mental traumas for their future. especially in some LGBT groups, people think that not giving LGBT education in schools might actually help people convert back from LGBT to their original genders, but it's not like that. It's part of a person's nature, and it's just a false sense of security that those age groups get, because LGBT is part of a person's identity. It's in their nature. LGBT students should also get their own safe space, as we all should get our own safe space, and we should battle against misinformation against LGBT students, who not only LGBT students, actually LGBT people that have been spread throughout social media. Combating misinformation should be a major part of sex education and LGBT education in schools, which might help LGBT students not only embrace their identity but feel a sense of security to live their life normally in society. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone who is present here. Today I am to stand against the motion, is LGBT plus inclusive sex education necessary in school? So, first we need to understand what LGBTQ plus inclusive sex education actually means. So, people, not all of us are identified as male or female. Some of us might feel insecure about our own gender, why we don't behave like other people, or why we don't act a specific way that we're supposed to, like boys acting like boys, or girls behaving like girls. But the fact is that instead of learning this in sex ed in school, it is normally taught at home. Since there's a few studies that I'd like to mention, such as a practice in the USA where they actually included sophisticated CDC courses for different sexually oriented people. Well, some parents weren't happy about this, so there was a riot and protest about this CDC course, which led to the closing of schools and colleges around the whole US for about 4 to 5 weeks. There's also a similar case in the UK where they completely changed their health course for lower grade and higher grade secondary students. This also led to a lot of lashback from the government, from their residents, which also led to the 2019 famous school ban for about a month, going on till 2020 through break. So what I'd like to steal from these examples is that sex education is not for everyone, since in health we need to learn more about pregnancies or how adolescents should work instead of how a specific portion feels like. All of us may not be of the same gender. If there's one inclusive sex gender in our class, I don't think all of us should be inclined to study what they need to feel as norms for themselves, since famously stated by Leonardo da Vinci that a boy educated in school is not educated. Education is not only earned through school, but through other forms, such as secondary education, which from their community, from live actions, or their parents themselves. So, sex ed for LGBTQ inclusive sex education should be taught not at school, but through other media such as parents, because not all students, not all parents follow such religion that all of us should learn about these things. Of course, they are necessary for some students who are related to these, but there's a few religions and factions that oppose this value of life. Some even despise some people for being of the opposite gender. So instead of sex ed teaching in school, I do feel in the health course of the CDC book that we need to study, there should be courses about contemporary pregnancy, sexual education, not sex ed. So there are some policies that can be included, such as non-bullying policy and identity policies, or not making it compulsory. It might be an option for a few students, such as subjects like accountancy, computer, or optional maths. There's also another study I'd like to mention. It was a study done by GLSEN, Gay Lesbian Sex Education Center. So what they actually researched on is that more people that learn why they are different have a higher chance of depression and suicide than those who deny the fact they are. So if our class is filled with students and we're being taught about gay education, then the person is feeling left out for being different, which also causes them to have less friends, be into depression, and even may lead to suicide for some people, as 35% of other sexual genders of inclusive sex actually suicide before the age of 21 because of their differences. Some also find finding jobs and education hard for themselves. That is also a major point. So I would like to end my debate by a small quote from Leonardo da Vinci. Simple education is the best way to be sophisticated. Thank you.
There's no battle, that means. All right, thank you very much.